one of Australia's most vicious serial rapists and murderers.
He's a man who has no conscience, no soul.
Peter Dupas is a living, breathing nightmare, a serial sexual sadist, a lust murderer. He rapes and mutilates women, and he can't be cured. A man like Peter Dupas kills simply because murder sexually arouses him, and the amount of sexual fulfillment he gets depends upon the amount of torture he inflicts. Come with me now into the mind of a true psychopath.
On October 4, 1997, an Australian couple drove out to a local dump, a place where people tossed old furniture, trash, and anything they no longer needed. The couple wasn't there for anything unusual. They were simply collecting discarded soft drink bottles like Coca-Cola and Pepsi. But that morning, instead of bottles, they stumbled upon something no one could ever prepare for. Lying on the ground was the body of a woman, mostly naked, badly injured, and clearly not long dead. Horrified, the couple immediately called the police. Minutes later, officers arrived at the scene. They saw a woman with multiple wounds covering her body, injuries that looked like violent stab marks. Even stranger, a receipt was stuck to her forehead. Investigators quickly cordoned off the area, and the body was transported to the medical examiner. The autopsy revealed even more disturbing details. The woman had suffered a severe blow to her back, had been strangled, and her system contained a high level of drugs. Any one of these factors could have killed her, making it difficult for doctors to determine a single cause of death. But the most important question remained: who was she? After a lengthy investigation, detectives finally identified the victim. Her name was Margaret, a 40-year-old woman, a mother, and someone whose life had taken a tragic turn long before her death. Margaret had once been known as a beautiful, vibrant woman. She sang, held a good job at a local bank, and lived a fairly stable life. But over the years, she fell deeply into drug addiction, eventually losing her job. Desperate to support her dependency, she began selling her body, just trying to earn enough to survive another day. She had a teenage daughter named Natasha, a high school student who struggled immensely with her mother's condition. Natasha begged her mother to stop using drugs, but Margaret continued, often right in front of her. Their home was filled with arguments, pain, and frustration. When police spoke to Natasha, she said she last saw her mother on October 3rd at around 7 p.m., just one day before the body was found. Natasha had left the house to visit a friend and had taken the house key with her. After she left, Margaret went out as well. When she returned, she found the door locked. Unable to get inside, she approached a neighbor and asked for help opening the door. The neighbor went with her for a while, but couldn't get it unlocked. Margaret told him, "Leave it, I'll sort it out," and he left. One neighbor later told investigators he saw Margaret driving a blue car. This detail became crucial. Police traced CCTV footage and found the blue car stopping at a pharmacy. The pharmacist remembered Margaret coming in with a man who claimed he lived in Gregorytown. After leaving the pharmacy, the car was next seen at a supermarket. 12:15 a.m. That was the last confirmed time anyone saw Margaret alive. From that point on, Margaret vanished until her body was discovered at the dump hours later. Despite searching tirelessly, investigators found no clear evidence pointing to who killed her. The identity of the man in the car, the events of that night, and what truly led to Margaret's death remained unanswered. About a month after Margaret's case, another body was discovered. And this time, the victim was a young woman named Mersina Halvagia. Mersina came from a loving family, a mother, father, and 2 brothers who adored her. She grew up happy, surrounded by support and stability. In 1992, she met a young man named Angelo, her first love. They were inseparable, and the two made a promise. After 5 years together, they would marry in 1997. But 1997 would become the year Mersina's life was stolen. November 1st, 1997, Mersina told her boyfriend that she was going to visit her grandmother's grave and would return later that afternoon. Hours passed, but she didn't come home. Angelo assumed she might have gone somewhere else and decided to wait. The next morning, she still wasn't home. That's when he knew something was terribly wrong. He contacted her parents, and together they rushed to the cemetery. When they arrived, they saw Mersina's car parked by itself, but she was nowhere in sight. They walked toward her grandmother's grave, and there they found something that would haunt them forever. Mersina's body, brutally murdered. They called the police immediately. Detectives swarmed the cemetery, sealing off the area. Forensics collected evidence, including 2 items found near her body: a smoked cigarette and a drinking glass. When the autopsy report came back, investigators were horrified. Mersina had been stabbed more than 55 times, mostly in her chest. She had multiple defensive wounds on her hands, showing she fought desperately for her life. Police began interviewing everyone close to her, friends, family, neighbors, but every single one said the same thing: Mersina had no enemies. Frustrated but determined, detectives believed someone must have heard something: a scream, a struggle, especially since cemeteries are usually visited throughout the day. They put out a public announcement asking anyone who had been at the cemetery that day to come forward.
Soon, several women arrived at the police station with disturbing statements. They had all seen the same thing: a strange man wandering around the cemetery, watching women. One woman said the man walked extremely close to her, staring at her intensely. Her friend, standing a distance away, yelled for her to come back. The man walked past without looking back, but did the same thing to other girls who were there earlier. Police asked these women to help identify him. They compiled a detailed image of the suspect, and the investigation exploded. Nearly 1,000 people were interviewed or detained for questioning. Detectives narrowed the list down to about 100 possible suspects, but even then, nothing matched. No fingerprints, no DNA, no clear lead. The case stalled until 2 years later. April 19th, 1999. 2 friends, Reno Hoffman and Nicole Patterson, had plans to go out that day. Reno got delayed and tried to contact Nicole, but Nicole didn't respond. Reno assumed Nicole was upset with her. Wanting to apologize in person, Reno went to Nicole's house. The moment she arrived, she felt something was wrong. Nicole's dog was outside, barking non-stop, and the front door was wide open. Nicole never left her door open. Reno stepped inside, and her world shattered. Blood covered the floors, the walls, everywhere. The entire house looked like a battlefield. Then she saw Nicole. Her friend was lying in a pool of blood. Reno screamed and ran to alert the neighbors. People rushed over, each one horrified by what they saw. They immediately called the police. Police arrived at Nicole Patterson's home within minutes. What they saw confirmed their worst fears. The scene was chaotic, violent, and filled with evidence that this was not a random attack. Nicole had been stabbed repeatedly, and detectives immediately suspected a sexually motivated killer. But unlike previous cases, this crime scene had clues.
real, physical clues. The killer had left behind fingerprints, boot prints, and several items that clearly didn't belong to Nicole. Detectives knew instantly. This murderer had made a mistake, and they were going to use it. As forensic teams collected samples, detectives launched a full-scale investigation. They traced the items found in the home and matched the boot prints to a very specific type of shoe issued to only a small number of people. Meanwhile, Nicole's neighbors reported seeing a strange man earlier that day. A man who had claimed he was there for a professional appointment with Nicole, who worked as a psychologist. Police followed this lead. A suspicious client. Earlier that day, Nicole had booked an appointment with a man using the name Malcolm, but police quickly found out the details were fake. The phone number he used belonged to a public payphone. The address he gave didn't exist. Whoever this man was, he had planned everything except the mistakes he left behind in the blood-soaked house. Forensic analysis was completed faster than anyone expected, and the moment detectives saw the results, everything changed. A name police knew too well. The fingerprints, the DNA, the pattern of violence, all of it matched one man. Peter Dupas.
These are only the crimes he committed, but this is just the beginning. In part 2, we'll dive into who he really was, his past, the patterns of violence, and the disturbing history that shaped everything you've seen so far. If you want to continue this case, make sure to like, comment, and stay tuned for part 2.